Good morning, Charlotte. It's good to see you again.
Hello.
So, thank you for agreeing to come back in and to meet with me again. We met a few weeks back for the first time, and we talked a little bit about you and your relationship with your son James. So, how have things been going since the last time we met?
It's been getting a lot better. We're not as bad as what we were, but we're definitely not, I wouldn't say great, but it's getting a little bit better every day.
Oh, well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, you say that things are getting a lot better. The last time we were here, I asked you to rate what you thought your guys' relationship was on a 1 to 10 scale, and my notes, according to my notes, and if I recall correctly, you said it was a 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, if I were to ask you a similar question today, how would you rate your guys' relationship right now?
6, 7.
6 or a 7?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's fantastic. What do you think are some of the things that moved you from a 4 to a 6 or a 7?
James has been doing after school tutoring and doing his schoolwork at school versus at home, which I think is helping with our communication because it's done and it's already been checked because I felt like a lot of our arguments were with him not doing his work or giving up, but there he has more motivation and I think more tools that he needs to do that and feel comfortable.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. So it sounds like what I hear you saying is that James has actually started receiving services from the school, and those services are helping you because it is lessening some of the burden of having to help him with his homework and check his homework and things like that. Okay, fantastic. That's great. And so one of the things that I will say, though, is that with individuals who I meet with, and I've met with James as well, as you know, and they experience significant change early on in treatment, that we warn that there's often a backslide because that, I don't know if it's that initial receiving treatment, high kind of goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just want to warn you that, I'm excited to hear that the change has been great, but that sometimes we should temper our expectations because often there's a backslide back into some of the old behaviors and things like that.
I think, my James, if given the opportunity, he's intelligent, he's soaring. I don't think this is even necessarily a push, it's more of separating myself is probably what has got him to be at a level that he's supposed to be at and that he thrives in, and it's almost second nature. I think when the environment and the energy in the house is what could be a cause of that versus him as being, he's had troubles in school with authority, but intelligent. He's a bright boy and wants to do good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, fantastic. And I agree. I had the chance to meet with him, and I think he's very thoughtful and he's very insightful, and you can definitely, just from talking with him, see how intelligent and how bright he is. And so I'm glad to hear that he's doing great. And I think that that's great that you're encouraged that the improvement will maintain. And so, something that you just said is something that I think is interesting, and I wanted to talk about is that you almost characterized the change as you being removed from the situation, and that is why there is the positive change. And one of the things that you had mentioned in our first session was that you sometimes feel like a bad mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so can you maybe talk about that a little bit more, why you think removing yourself is where the benefit is coming from?
Just in this situation we just talked about with him going after school and staying at school to get the tutoring, and I don't have the energy or the patience by the end of the day after, caring for the house, volunteering, cooking dinner, cleaning up from dinner, and then sometimes I feel like he just doesn't hear me until I scream, and then he shuts down, and then he would rather just not do his work or lie, act like he doesn't have work to do, because he does maybe need something as simple as he doesn't know where the art supplies are, and he doesn't know what reaction he's going to get from me. And I think that because of my short temper and just my, I guess, exhaustion, by the end of the day, it's just caused him to, you know, isolate and shut down versus like thriving. So.
Okay. And so what I think I hear you saying is that you feel that sometimes after a long day that you have difficulty with possibly communicating in a way that is sending mixed signals with James, and oftentimes some of your frustration is let out, and you think that that is adding to some of the difficulties that your son's experiencing?
I think that it's realistic to feel that a 15-year-old may huff or puff or like talk back, but as a mother, a good mother wouldn't react the way that I do, and that's kind of why I feel that I'm not the best mom. I don't have it's just me doing it, so it's hard sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, I do want to say though, Charlotte, that I'm in meeting with you twice and meeting with James, that I'm very impressed. That you both, James and yourself, have dealt with a lot with the loss of both of your parents, and dealing with James's anger and his, what I'm going to say is a struggle in, I think, coping with the loss of your parents and some of the changes, your medical problems and things like that. And so I'm super impressed with the job that you're doing as a mother, especially a single mother, seeking treatment for your son, caring about his well-being, and how he's doing are not typical of somebody I would characterize as a bad mother. But in saying that, I also want to again caution you that oftentimes if we change too quickly, that it can often backfire. And so I think that early on in this therapy that we're doing, what our goals between now and possibly the next time we meet, which we will talk about scheduling here in a minute, the goal should be to consider the changes that you want to make. And that next week or in the next couple weeks when we meet, we can come back and talk about what you think some of those changes can be to help you to address what you say is poor communication between you and James. How do you feel about that?
I don't see how it would backfire for me to talk to my son in a loving way. I'm the one it's not him in that situation where, I need to show my love more and be kinder and not scream. And I think that there's no, I don't know how loving somebody better could backfire.
Okay, yeah, no, I agree. I think that, loving your son is your most important job. And so, well then maybe we can do a mid-session assignment, and that be to possibly start considering and making a list of ways that you think you can use communication to express your love to your son in a way which you would find more suitable or better, and then talk about what those ways are, and if you have decided to implement them, what that's looked like in your relationship. Okay, great. And so I guess we will then talk about the next time we are able to meet.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.